Good morning, race fans, and welcome to the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park and today at the races presented by Fidelity First. I'm Tim Tulloch filling in for Stan Salter, joined by Equibase chart caller Keith Fustel. And Keith, how you doing, first of all?
Doing well. A little bit of a break, a little sun in the sky, and back to a fast track at lovely Laurel Park.
Lovely Laurel Park. And how about the weather? How warm it's been coming into today. A little breezy out there this afternoon. But as we lead into this week at the races, we got a couple things we keep an eye on. Jerry Robb's sitting on 2,000 wins. He's about 8 away.
Yeah, he's had a strong run of late. And obviously, over the weekend, we had Hammy with him hitting the 2,000 mark. That was great. But we've got a lot of trainers. I know Frank Vespi, the racing Biz, put something out yesterday. Had a kind of a list of all the trainers and their wins. So we've got a few sitting on some milestones.
And Victor Carrasco, he's 4 away from 1,000 wins in his career. So that's certainly within the realm of possibility for him to get that this weekend. Oh,
absolutely. Victor riding well. As we talked about before, our colony is getting stronger and stronger, it seems. We've got some young up-and-coming riders. We've got some bug riders we've got to pay attention to. So, I think things looking very good moving forward here on this circuit.
Yeah, the apprentice colony here is getting stronger and stronger. It could be interesting to see how it all plays out. Now that Correa is gone, you still have Wisman. You've got Rosales. You've got Charlie Marquez coming up. So, and you've got that Burgos, Antonio Burgos also, who's starting to get just a little bit of momentum here.
He is, actually. I watched him a couple mounts last week. I think improving. And, talking about Hammy and Gorey Smith, I'm sure they might have a couple guys working down there at the Ellery Training Center ready to kind of, they're cutting their teeth down there and get ready to come up to the Maryland circuit.
Well, they certainly typically do. Last Sunday was kind of an interesting card. I thought the day would be chalky all day long, and it really was through the fourth race, and then it kind of went a little awry.
Yeah, you had to do a little bit of work. Marylander paid a 10-20, 5-car draw. I think was maybe a little stranger. Trombetta horse snuck up the rail after it was kind of well back early. Made a good sustained run through the final eighth of a mile. Really leveled off. Kind of upset the apple cart there for some of your pick fours, pick fives, and obviously we've got a pick six carryover working today as well.
It certainly upset my pick six ticket and a few others also. Carryover here today gets started in race 3 on today's 8-race card, $6,572 in today's Rainbow Pick 6 carryover this afternoon. So you might want to roll up your sleeves and get into that. Again, starts in race 3. Also tomorrow can only mean one thing, Stronach 5 Friday here tomorrow, and it gets underway. Here we go. It gets underway here at Laurel Park with race 8. Post time about 3:49. Leg B is at Gulfstream Park. Leg C, Golden Gate Fields, their race 3. Leg D is at Santa Anita, their race 3, and then back to Gulfstream Park for their race 10. Leg E, guaranteed $100,000 pool. Paid out pretty nicely last week.
Yes, it did. I mean, we've had some big payoffs the last several weeks. And looking at our race, which kicking it off is a starter 16er open 25. Real salty kind of sprinters in there. It's a good race. I don't know if there's any real singles. Fix Me a Sandwich, kind of the new face coming in from Parks, who's run some big numbers of late, and Sir Orinoco, really steady kind of runner here. He has to be used on your ticket.
For sure. And you might have to go a little deeper in there than you might want to find something else somewhere else that you might be able to single on later in the sequence. But it does get started out pretty tough here tomorrow. But if you can solve it, it's worth the time, no doubt. Also coming up this Saturday, we have 4 stakes this Saturday, a big day of stakes. Here on the 18th is upcoming Saturday with the $100,000 What a Summer Stakes, the $100,000 Fireplug Stakes. That's an interesting race.
Yeah, that's a tough race.
That's a tough heat right there. $75,000 Geisha, and then the $75,000 Jennings Stakes, which I thought was pretty interesting also.
Yeah, the Jennings always mining. I have 8-5 on the line. I think he'll settle in about that level. Third off of a layoff, big number last, kind of a glaring 97 by. That might have been a top for him. Can he bring that race back is going to be the key. the horse from the rail, John Jones.
John Jones looks tough in this race. He's
stretching back out, I certainly think he figures into the mix. A good race, and then like talking about the fire plug, I think I've got a 7-2 favorite in there. I really struggled with the line in that race. There's quite a few ways to go in the fire plug.
There are quite a few ways to go in the fire plug. I struggled that race. I didn't struggle with the Jennings. I have Always Mining on top, and John Jones in my exact. In fact, I made Always Mining my best bet of the day on Saturday. I love him turning back to this flat mile.
Yeah, I'd say he moved into a pretty quick pace last time. The winner eventually got that third run. You sat Trevor's horse, was it Someday Jones? But Always Mining, I think he just holds that form. He might be primed to run maybe one of his best efforts ever. I think he's given enough time coming back. He'll sit a perfect trip. I don't know if he wants to be too aggressive. He's fast enough if he wants to go, but I think Julian is patient. He'll just sit just off of him, try to make that knockout move top of the stretch and see if he can take it from there.
And with that long stretch in that one-turn mile, it will make the difference for him. So I really like him here this Saturday. We've got, what do we have conditions there, my friends?
Yeah, there it is.
Not full screen, just the track. So there you go. The track. What do we have the track here today?
Beautiful track. Is fast. Weather not too bad. I know we're looking forward to some temperatures are going to drop. Unfortunately, we're not going to keep this warm spell, but there you go. Turf course. We could probably run on it today.
It does look good. I was upstairs yesterday. I was like, it's pretty green. Maybe we get some in. But Mother Nature's not going to let us get away with that. There's no doubt. It is really only the middle of January, and we've got a long way to go here this winter. And speaking of that, we might as well get going right here this afternoon and dig into the first race here today. A maiden 10 for maiden fillies and mares, 4-year-olds up, going a one-turn mile. And this kicks off the early pick 5, also super high 5 wagering available in this race. And the early pick 5 mandatory payout 12% takeout. And Stan Salter has a ticket for the early pick 5. We'll take a quick look at Stan's ticket here. $36 play. He goes 4 deep here in race 1 using the 2, 3, 4, and 6. No singles. The 1 and the 6 in race 2. I like both of those horses. Martin's going to be very, very tough in that heat. Race 3 goes 3 deep with the 3, 5, and 6. Race 4, 6, 7, and 8. And in race 5, he singles on the same horse I single on my early pick 4, and that's a 10 Hargis.
Okay.
But I don't know that it's a give me, but that's a good-looking ticket, very affordable, $36 on the early pick 5.
Good-looking picture of Stan right there. How about the new graphics?
Yeah,
that doesn't grab your eye.
There you go. They've got a picture of you.
I don't know. I don't know if they can. I don't think they can pretty me up. I'd rather. That's
the one you want.
The one with when I had hair. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so race 1, we'll dig into this. Keith, you've got the 4 Laurel Lady on top. Second time for Ben Feliciano. Angel Cruz returns here this afternoon.
Well, we've got 3 bombs in the race, 4 horses that kind of really tough to separate. I'm just taking the angle. Second time here for the barn. Didn't run terribly. Failed as a favorite. Was bet down pretty strongly in there. A little trouble out of the gate. Once again, Laurel Lady I think is going to take a stalking position. Thirsty again. Margie's band. They look like the quickest of anybody. They're going to go out there and be on the pace. But it's a grinded out kind of finish. Pigeon Creek could win it. Laurel Lady, around that 5-2 range is good enough for me. But the back number's 39 by her if she can get to that.
If she can get to that,
she's a winner.
Second time for Benny Feliciano and showed improvement, not so much number-wise, but certainly result for Benny first time out. I have the 2, Thirsty again on top. And I just like this horse. All 3 of her races going that one flat mile here, that one-turn mile, have been her best efforts, and she's coming out of a pretty decent effort. Number a little soft in that race. The 3, Margie's Band, who we both look like a little bit, coming out of that C Mamacita race. And C Mamacita that day just galloped.
And in that race too, talking about Thirsty again, she kind of got cooked in the pace early.
She did.
She dueled, and the beneficiaries in that race were Margie's Band. Pigeon Creek sat just off of it. Margie's Band I think you have to use, but Hugh, only 1 for 11 sprinter route with the maiden claimers over the last couple years. 5 of 11 in the money, so it gives you hope she's going to be around it. Not necessarily a slam dunk, and neither of these 4 are a slam dunk winner in the opener. So
no doubt. And you like Pigeon Creek a little bit.
Yeah.
I do too. Coming out of that same C Mamacita race. I just like saying that horse's name. C Mamacita.
Well, we had her that day, and she just absolutely whistled.
She whistled that particular day. 4-2 for Keith, 2-4 for myself in today's opener. Race 2, an optional $25,000 for 4-year-olds and up. Claim started for a claim price $25,000 or less, and never won 3 going a flat mile. And Keith, you have the 6 on top, Martin, who's coming in here in very, very good form. Also, this is the start of the early pick 4, and there you go, Keith. You're looking pretty good.
Tell you, that must have been taken in like July or something.
Yeah,
right
tan,
off the golf course.
Tan, there you go.
Here we go. $32 ticket, get you started. 1, 2, 5, 6. Another race. A shorter field. Scratch the 3 soulmate. Tough to separate these horses. Martin's going to be my top selection. We go too deep in race 3 with the 5 and the 6. Thirst for Quality will be a strong favorite in there for Robbie Bales. We're going to take 4 horses in race 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and wrap it up with the 9 and the 10. I have to use Hargis. Hargis, maybe the speed of speed is going to have to be used early to get clear of maybe Shadow Boxer. Baron of Bluegrass is awfully fast. Reported first time gelding on the 9 Belmont Ride. I think he is going to be the one that kind of benefits and rallies into this pace. $32 ticket for the early pick 4.
Oh, there you have it. Always, your early pick 4 has been pretty
around
successful lately.
That's kind of my staple. Just try to get the ball moving.
Get it going. Get it going. Make us look a little good, since I've been my pick 4s have been a little light lately, so you'll pull us through. But race 2, Keith, you have the 6 on top, Martin, who's in very, very good form, coming off of a nice race here in his last winner, first time off the claim, and we've got a little video spotlight on this.
Right,
one.
This horse is a horse that's definitely improved since being gelded. He's won 2 straight by open lengths, and last time out, they went kind of soft early. 25, 49 at 1, picked it up. But I tell you, the final quarter of a mile for Martin, awfully strong. And he beats a horse like Going to the Lead, who will fight you tooth and nail up front. But he just disposes of him in mid-stretch and widens to win by 5 1/4. I think it's onwards and upwards. This is that little funky kind of a stat with Claudio, second off of a claim following wins. Not his strongest move, but he got one done the other day. So I'm going to stick with him. Look at him to the wire. Really just kind of perfectly cruising on his correct leg. I've probably got the wrong favorite in here. Martin certainly could be. Money going to certainly be between the 1, 5, and 6. They're going to be close, but the Robin Hood, you've got the motion factor and a drop in class. But, man, he really faced some tough horses back as a 2 in life kind of a horse running against Clubmen. Look at the measure 2 Cuban brothers.
Downs,
these horses have won 10, 12 races a piece.
Exactly. Yeah. And Martin, that race we just saw on Video Spotlight was first off the claim for Claudio Gonzalez, and those horses tend to move up and move up dramatically. He's coming off a lifetime best with the work. And I love the fact that he's just simply coming back at the same level. My top pick in here is the 1 Flip for Cal Lynch. And since getting to Maryland, he's just been in really good form. Another horse coming off his lifetime best in his last start, getting beat by Dance for Oral and Paul the Waiter, but a decent race nonetheless that day, and gets turned back to a flat mile here this afternoon.
I'm trying to get a little bit of a price in my exacta. You're using the 2 in the mix as well. Closer look at 5 to 1 with the scratch might come down. It was a beaten favorite last time. January 1st out of that Flip race. It was kind of an outside wave, kind of a day for the most part. I'm willing to forgive that effort. He was pinned right down on the rail the entire way and just kind of ran even. Coming back to the 1 turn where he's, 2 seconds and a third from 3 starts. Maybe he's that one that kind of helps boost that exacta. I don't think it's going to be a monstrous exacta, but maybe he can take you to that $35, $40 range if he gets in there.
Exactly, and a closer look, the 2 last time out wasn't a great effort, but the races are there. No doubt about it. 2 starts before were certainly good efforts here for a closer look. So 6-2 for yourself and 1-6. For myself, I'm still trying to get a little used to the new graphics, but
they're a little different.
A little different. It's okay. A little change doesn't hurt. A little change. Speaking of a little change in your pocket for the Rainbow Pick 6 wouldn't be too bad, and that starts in race 3, and we have a little bit of a carryover here in today's Rainbow Pick 6, $6,572. I've got a ticket for the Rainbow Pick 6, and it looks a little bit like this, a $43 and 20-cent play, and I go 3 deep in a race 3 using the 3, the 5, and the 6. Thirst for Quality probably goes off as the favorite in that race. I go 4 deep in race 4. This race I thought was a little wide open. I kind of like the 1, 10-1 on the morning line.
Okay.
That's my price play of the day, so I'm looking for my friend Jeff Runco and Playground to get it done in race 4. Race 5, 3 deep there, the 3, the 5, and the 10. I really like the 10 Hargis, but you nailed it right on the head. Shadow Boxer scares me a little bit. It has speed. Could mess it up for Hargis. Race 6, 3, 6, 10. In race 7, I use the 1 and the 2, my side Princess and Mary's Jewel. And I single in the 9th on the 2, Lion Lord. That race is no give me. You've got Jack Strait for Timothy Kreiser. You've got Thurman Merman for Scott Lake coming off a lifetime best. However, John Robb has been on a tear, and I'm gonna stick with him. And I needed a single, and that's the only race I could really feel reasonably confident about the single. $43.20 ticket, some room to work around there, so it's a pretty cheap ticket if you want to use it a bit of a guideline.
And it's not an easy stretch of races. I know the fields, they're not monstrous, but like I say, you were able to kind of grab a single late. And I think that's as good as any, playing the percentages with a really hot trainer. But I found the stretch of races kind of difficult. You spread around, definitely race 6, I think, is a little bit of a maze. So, yeah.
For race 4, race 6, and race 5 and 6, if I could have afforded it, I would have gone maybe 1 horse deeper in that race. Race 7, maybe 1 more horse deeper.
Yeah.
But that's what I came up with. So good luck to me, and good luck to you if you play the Rainbow Pick 6. A race 3 is a maiden 10 going a flat mile for for straight 3-year-olds here this afternoon. And both our top picks is the 6, Thirst for Quality, and he ran a lifetime best race in his last. And we've got a little video spotlight on the 6, Thirst for Quality, from his last start on December 27th.
Yeah, and a couple horses come out of this race, 14 Carat, 57 Chevy, Sojourner. But Thirst for Quality is the one. This is the first time going a route of ground on the dirt, and he ran quite well. Picks it up from mid-pack, just a steady progression, is able to sustain. Cocktail Shaker just a little too good that day at 8-1. Nice little upset there for PTK. But Thirst for Quality, 9-1 this day. You got value. I hope he doesn't bounce, because that was a major step up in numbers, almost about 14 points from the prior race. But let's just think that this is what this horse really wanted to do, was go ahead and run long. Kind of a grinded out kind of a running style for Thirst for Quality. Robbie Bales coming back with favorites. He's done well with favorites the last couple years at Laurel. 13 for 29 overall. With the maiden claimers, he's 3 for 13. Second Dam, I look back at her. It was all long. I think she might have won a couple stakes races going long on the main track. So maybe that was the ticket for Thirst for Quality. Just needs to bring something close back to that race to get through the maiden ranks today.
Well, there's no doubt. Pedigree says the longer may the better, maybe the better for Thirst for Quality. And we both have the 6th Thirst for Quality on top. You have some interest in the 557 Chevy for Hammy Smith, and 2 of his last 3 have been pretty decent efforts.
Yeah, it just got way too far back last time in the Cocktail Shaker race. Revert back to the 2-back try. A 33 buyer. I think something like a high 30 is going to be able to win it, so he's going to probably have to run a top, but he's got the experience at this distance. I think he can churn and burn and get in the money for you. 6-5, 3-1.
Yeah, a little interest in the 3 for me, if he can just lay a little bit closer than he did last time, and if he can do that, it might work out a little bit better for him here this afternoon as we move on to race 4. This kicks off the late pick 5, and the late pick 5 has carryover potential, but we don't think we have any carryover going into late pick 5 this afternoon. fellas. If we can throw that board up there, we go. No carryover, 50-cent minimum, industry low, 12% takeout. And Stan Salter has a ticket, $36 ticket. Everyone's kind of saving a little money today. No one's going too deep here, but Stan goes 3 deep in race 4 using the 6, 7, and the 8. The 8 Mucho Macho Danny for Claudio Gonzalez on the drop. Always dangerous, 3-1 on the line. Race 5, he uses 2 of them there, the 9 and the 10. Belmont Ride, first time gelding for Damon Delvico, and the favorite Hargis. 4 deep in race 6. Which we talked about it. There's a couple of races you need to spread using the 3, Make the Rules. The 6, Dedicated, who is my top pick. The 7 and the 10 on the outside. Kierland for Mark Reed coming off a win on the slop. 1-2-7 in race 7. And in race 8, he singles on Thurman Merman for Scott Lake. Carol Cedeno rides coming off a lifetime best 86 Buyer speed figure. Going to have to run back to that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But
you guys got singles going against each other. Right in race 8.
Someone's going to be happy, someone won't. But that's usually the case in racing at the end of the day. Race 4, wide open, 12,500 claiming event for 3-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile. And, Keith, you have the 6 on top, rigged election for Cal Lynch. Xavier Perez rides. They've been hooking up about 33% lately. They've got a little thing going here, Perez and Lynch, and I just think this one's very, very well spotted today.
Yeah, this horse has never really run that fast. Nobody in this race really has. I think it's the turn back in distance and maybe a little premature move. Last time moved a little too quick into an okay pace before flattening out into the lane, fading the final furlong. So I think coming back to the sprint has run a lot of 5.5. So I think the 6 is going to be perfect for this horse. This is a tricky little race from a pace scenario. I guess Victory gets in light with Charlie Marquez will probably go to the front. I think Pataz can kind of stay around a long way as well. Second off the claim, dropping, dismal try first time out, but went awfully quick. I think the 5 is going to come back and last a lot longer. You've got to respect Claudio on a drop, and even Irish Town kind of put it together. Showed a little bit more finish last time. This horse had some hang going on in some of his races, but definitely did bring a finish last time. I think the 4th race is definitely a wide open affair. You've got to spread a little bit in there. There's no single along the way.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I went 4 deep on my Rainbow Pick 6 in the 4th race. I have interest in the 1. He's 10-1 on the morning line, coming off a little bit of a layoff for Jeff Runco, a type of layoff Jeff does very, very good, bringing in his regular rider Arnoldo Bocachica. And his first 2 races were good positive efforts. Maiden special weight at Charlestown, got the job done, and then tried a first level allowance or 2 life allowance race out there, Mountaineer, and didn't run that badly. The numbers aren't there. I get the numbers aren't there, but looks like he wants to be pretty honest. Only got beat 3 lengths out there at Mountaineer. I like him here a little bit today. I think he might be getting a little bit of class relief here.
Maybe slight, I would think. And he's got one thing he's got to do is he's got to get out of the gate. He's got Bocachica, Charlestown rider, familiar with trying to get these horses out quick because he does not want to be shuffled. I don't know if he's as fast as a couple of these early, so he does not want to lose position and be 6 or 7 out of it maybe into the turn. Is he going to be good enough to get up from there? I'm not so sure. But certainly you respect the barn bringing in horses into Laurel. And like I say, a wide open race, so why not give it a shot? Probably maybe couldn't have a race that worked for him up there. Going to bring him here to Laurel.
Sure, well, and he showed the ability to. He just needs to get away well enough because he's shown the ability to run at horses in his previous 2 starts. So that's what I'm counting on here this afternoon. It's time for us to take a little commercial break. We'll be right back here in a moment for the 5th. Welcome back to Today at the Races, presented by Fidelity First. I'm Tim Tulloch. Keith Fusel still along with me. You've hung in with half the show. Let's finish it up. Race
We're going to close it out.
We're going to close it out right here. Now there's a 3 lifetime for 5,000 for 4-year-olds and up, going the Classic American sprint distance of 3/4 of a mile. And Keith, you've got the 9 on top, Belmont Ride for Damon Della Vico, first time gelding, and we've got the interesting stat as your stats always are. Here we go.
Here we go. Last 3 years at Laurel on the dirt. Smaller sample, but this works for me. 3 for 9 is Damon, 33%, and 5 for 9 in the money. Second off of a layoff and running for 5,000. That's what you're getting today with an ROI of 257. Didn't run terrible, chasing a little bit of a fade first time out off the break from May to mid-December. There's plenty of speed in here, the target. This is one of the few horses in here that show they can sustain a run into an honest pace. I think you're going to get that today. I like Belmont Ride here, second off the layoff and a drop.
And on top of that, Damon Della Vico off this 30 to 60-day layoff, about 28% first time gelding here this afternoon on my ticket. Not quite, I don't regard him as highly as you do, but certainly is in with a shot. The 10 Hargis is my top pick for coming in for Anthony Ferrier, first off the claim. Very good, Anthony is first off the claim, about 33% drops. And his last race was a pretty good race. Not as well, not as good as previous races. It was just going a little bit too fast for him.
Yeah, and look at that. You look at the number. It's a 60 buyer, and you look at his page. Well, that was one of his poorest races on the page. So they drop right after the claim. They're going to jam. Maybe this little sneaky move trying to get the horse eligible. Your nickel starters, you don't know. He's going to have to run faster than he did in the past to be competitive in a boys nickel starter, no doubt. Draws outside, he draws clear. He better hadn't missed a beat, though. Shatterbox so awfully fast. Belmonte can bring that little speed. Baron of Bluegrass is quick. So I don't know if he's going to get any real breathers up front.
Well, the only upside is he's breaking from the outside. Now he hasn't really shown the ability to lay off a horse.
No,
it
he
looks
doesn't like the pass horses.
It looks like he gets the front or he folds. But the races that he didn't quite run that well and that were very fast. A couple of those races, 21 and 4. I'm just hoping if he can get out there, get away with that 22 and change, that he finishes well enough to get it done. But it's no give me. As you mentioned, Shadow Boxer has shown speed before getting back to a fast track here this afternoon where he's run his lifetime best race. We both have a little interest in the 3 all clear for Claudio.
Right.
And my interest is simply when I look at this horse's form, I go, well, you know, it's okay. There's nothing brilliant on there. But this is first time Claudio Gonzalez, so the horse gets a clean slate, essentially.
Sure. And he's a horse. I mean, he doesn't really have any speed. He might show a little bit more first time Claudio, but has shown the ability to kind of sustain a run, albeit, just kind of a steady progression. That's certainly going to work, I think, with the flow that we're going to see in this particular race.
There you go. 9-10 for Keith, 10-5 for myself in race 5. Race 5 kicks off. Oh, it doesn't kick off. Late pick 4, doesn't it? There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
There
late
we go.
pick
That's
4.
Late pick 4.
Race 6. Here we go. 4-year-olds and up, which have now won a race in 6 months or never won 4 races, claiming price $5,000, going the flat mile. Keith, you like the 6, you like the 7. Big City Blues on top, dropping in some class for Phil Schoenthal.
Yeah, Phil with some winners of late, and just kind of an all or nothing kind of a proposition for Big City Blues. Sprint 7/8 back out to the mile. I think he's got maybe one more left in the tank, and this is the right move. Try to get the confidence up if you're going to do it. Go for the nickel. He's 9 for 29 over the last couple years. Dirt routes with horses running for 10,000 or less is Phil Schoenthal. And there was another one. He's 4 for 17, 8 for 17 money. 50% droppers on the dirt going long. So I think Big City Blues, if he doesn't make the front, we're in trouble. I hope he can be clear into the turn and nurse and maybe release once they hit the top of the stretch, because this looks like maybe the one final shot. A little desperation move for Big City Blues, but some stats kind of give us a little bit of confidence.
Well, certainly he should make the lead. I mean, I can't imagine he doesn't get to the front in this group. Dropping to the 5,000, was cut out to be a nice horse.
Yeah.
Fame and Fashion is a full sister to multiple graded stakes winner of $2 million. Island Fashion, she didn't run, but the blood's there. But I think the drop could work. I'm just worried about this horse being able to sustain that run, even at this level, going the one-turn mile. I like the 6 Dedicated on top. You like Dedicated also. First off, the claim for Ricardo D'Angelo with some decent his last 5 races, except for the one on a good turf course, we just tossed that one out, have been good, solid efforts. And I just thought he ran into a very good Savvy Street coming off that long layoff.
That was Mike. Was that Mike? No, that wasn't.
It was Christy
Claggett. Might have a horse get claimed, though, I think.
It did get claimed.
Okay.
It did get claimed out of that race off a year layoff. That horse was very, very good that day. I think he bounces back here today for Ricardo D'Angelo, who's a 33% first off a claim. Small barn, has a work sense. So I'm going to go with Dedicated and Caramanos here in race 6.
Agreed. He's a user. He's bounced around a couple barns, and certainly on a fast track at this kind of distance, maybe he and a True Gentleman, they've been consistent so that you can give them credit for that. So they certainly work in this field, and they can make a move in from somewhere mid-pack. I think Dedicated obviously has a little bit more tactical speed than does a True Gentleman. Off that sloppy race last time, I don't know if you can completely dismiss Kierland, and he's got numbers back on his page on the fast track that work. He didn't really get a duel last time. He just a steadily progression up to it to win clear. So sharp form now. We've got Alberto Burgos here. You know he's going to be hustling and trying. I don't think you can completely leave this horse out. This is another tricky race to line. You can't take anything less than maybe 3-1 on any of these horses. You're doing yourself a disservice because it's that kind of wide open to me.
Yeah, no doubt. I like Kierland. I think Mark Reed's trying to get some of this. He's been putting Antonio Burgos on some horses. I think he's trying to recreate the Correa magic. He had, and he very well might. I have a little interest. I don't have my picks on the 2 King of All Media. This would be second off a layoff. I think you can absolutely draw a line through his last start. Calais Francois rides. It was on the slop. A decent race first off the layoff. My only issue is he's got to get away because he has the back races before he went on that long layoff. And I just feel like this horse is eligible to move forward. Is it going to be good enough? I don't know. But if you want to play around with the 2 King of All Media, I think you're going to get a pretty decent price on him here this afternoon in today's 6th race. Race 7. Now there's a 216,000 for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards, going 7/8 of a mile. And we both like the 7, but you have the 7. Go Amanda on top with Forrest Boyce, and we have a little video spotlight on Go Amanda from her June 30th race from this past summer.
Yeah, was able to kind of prompt the pace and went pretty quick, 22-4, 46-2. Just kind of kicked away at the quarter pole, and it's just going to widen here to the wire by 4 and some change, switches over to the correct lead with about a 16th to go under Forrest Boyce. Forrest Boyce is back. We're freshened up. A route prior to the break back in September. Route to sprint, we know it's an awfully good number for Damon Dilladovico. I think she can kind of just shadow the speed of Mary's Jewel and maybe outdo that one to the wire. But Data Princess is a price horse here. Another one for Ferris Allen, like a couple of his horses today at this 5-1 morning line. I don't know what happened last time. Visually, 2 back, it was good. Just was inside, took back a little bit, and just never got it going again from there. So I'm going to give her another shot just because that race just kind of 2 back. It just sits in my brain. I remember it, calling that chart. It looked good to me. I think she's better, clearly better than her last.
And there's a couple horses Ferris has in today where the form is pretty good and then shows not such a great race. Data Princess is certainly one of them here this afternoon. Going back to the 7, Go Amanda, I just love the fact that she broke her maiden for maiden 25. Now today she's in the 2 lifetime for 16. This is probably the most favorable spot she's been in since breaking her maiden. I think that's going to go a long way also for the 7, Go Amanda. I have the 2 on top, Mary's Jewel, just miss effort over the slop in her last race. Here. She's adding blinkers this afternoon for Miguel Vera, who had a pretty decent year last year, winning about 15%. That's not horrible with a limited amount of starters, and has had a sharp work since that last race up there at Pimlico and Cintron return. So I'm going to give Mary's Jewel a little bit of a shot here.
The key for her is, I mean, you look at the fast track races. She's only brought a 38 to the page. Has it been the off tracks that have kind of helped her? Blinkers go back on. I watched that race. She didn't race with blinkers. I'm thinking we might have missed them because we do miss them sometimes. They come out, but she did not wear blinkers last time out. So interesting move right back. She was dead game, but they're going back today. My Side Princess, a little trouble last time out of that Mary's Jewel race. Was very willing to the wire. 7 furlongs. I still think might be just a shade far for her. Can she bring enough finish? She was just kind of a little bit even late, but her best is going to put her into the mix. So Damon kind of got two of them in here.
Sure, and
that are live.
I mean, they're both the races at this level. Her last two starts have been good, solid efforts with good results. Maybe a little numbers off, but not too far off if she can move forward a little bit here this afternoon. Race 7-5 for Keith, 2-1 for myself as we move into the nightcap. Race 8. Claiming 16,000, wide open 16,000, going 3/4 of a mile for 4-year-olds and up. And my top pick in here is the 2 Lion Lord coming in for the red hot John Robb. Also race 8 Quinella. Don't forget about the Quinella 10% takeout, $2 minimum wager. Last live race, every live racing day right here at Laurel Park. So we do have the Quinella in our race 8 here this afternoon. The 2 Lion Lord, my top pick in here, as I mentioned, John Robb has been on fire. He's working on 2,000 wins. We have a stat for Mr. Robb. And what do you have for us here, Keith?
Yeah, it's a smaller sample, but it works. The last couple of years on the dirt, 3 for 6 and 4 for 6 in the money, second off a claim. Following a win, Lion Lord a winner last time out. A gritty win, dueled early, went clear, and then held on late. Had too much data, and Divine Intervention came running late, just couldn't quite get up. It shortens up a furlong. This horse is 0 for 3 at the 6 furlong distance. Is he going to be able to kind of come back and bring that kind of number? I think he will. There's not a lot of true speed. He and Thurman Merman might separate themselves early, getting themselves involved in a little bit of a match race. We have Thurman Merman's race from 3 back, right?
Yes.
The video from November the 9th.
November 9th.
And this was done on the front end, and they went pretty quick, 22 and 2, 45 and 2 in the Condition 8 race. Birdie's Honor has now become kind of a little bit of a key horse between that 8 to 12-5 level. He's been running well, and Thurman Merman's able to dictate. He's a horse that has some back races to go off of. He was laid off for a long time, but man, topped out last time. I don't know if he's going to bring an 86 to the page, but he shows he's versatile enough to go to the front or sit just off of it. In that race last time at Penn, he prompted a pretty solid horse, a Kreiser runner, I think was a 6-time winner over 2019, and just kind of blew right on by to go clear. So respect the form of Thurman Merman. He and Lion Lord emerge around the turn, and then we'll see if the Kreiser horse can rally into those 3, 2, 1, 5.
And Thurman Merman, I'm just worried about that last race and bouncing. I'm worried about that race that we just watched on the video. A soft number for what he's been running. Just switches leads late. Looked like he was trying to stagger a little bit late in the race. Still got the job done. And whether he can run back to that last race here this afternoon, probably not, but those other races certainly going to be close enough. The 1 Jack Straight, interesting to me, coming off a little bit of a layoff where Timothy Kreiser is very good, and he's very good in all these categories. I think he's be able to set a pretty decent trip, and by the numbers is probably pretty much runs the most consistent numbers in the race.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Kreiser, I think he's been 25% the last few years on the dirt running at Laurel. So this horse certainly works keys up against some similar horses as Thurman Merman you see up in Penn, the Old Faithful and everything. So, yeah. I think he's a user. I don't know if he's going to get up in time. I'm not sure. I think those top 2 selections I've got, if they can kind of get away with it fairly easy, past the 3/8, they might be tough to run down.
2, 3, 1 for myself. 3, 2, 1 for Keith in the finale. That's going to do it for us here this afternoon. Remember, a nice carryover in the Rainbow Pick 6. Just over $6,500 gets started in race 3. And, of course, tomorrow, Stronach 5 Friday. Hope you enjoy the races here this afternoon. Come back to see us later this afternoon and tomorrow. And Keith, we'll call it a morning.
Call it a morning. Let's go hit the ATM and see if we can run it up.
There we go. Good luck.
See you. Good luck.